Ladies and gentlemen, Friday Night Smackdown earlier in the year was by far the worst show that WWE produces weekly. It was a pain to watch, it was a chore, it was just brutal to sit through. But now, in October 2020, Smackdown is WWE's best show, and whether you want to say that it's better than AEW, I'm not going to go into that debate because that's just destined for dislikes and whatnot, but I'm going to say, far and away, SmackDown is far better than Monday Night Raw. SmackDown is far better than NXT. SmackDown is just a really easy 2-hour wrestling show to watch from start to finish. Yes, not everything's perfect. Yes, it's not the greatest show of all time, but SmackDown does a lot right. They do the whole, the storytelling, the captivating angles thing really well. Like on tonight's show, the first 30 to 40 minutes were really good. We had Roman Reigns and Jey Uso going face to face with a promo segment, which, yes, we've seen that for a couple of weeks, but time in and time out, they never failed to let you down. I botched that completely. They never failed to do something worthwhile. They never failed to do something entertaining. So this week, Reigns came out with Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman started talking. Reigns just straight up took the microphone from him. Heyman, you can see his facial expression on the screen here. He has this facial expression of, like, he's in awe. Like, Roman Reigns is just so high and mighty. Just little acting things like that are so good. So Reigns is cutting his promo, and then Jey Uso comes out. They do this really, close kind of moment where they're hugging each other, or kind of. Reigns puts his head next to Jey Uso's ear, and he's muttering stuff to him. He's talking about how they'll have a rematch at Hell in a Cell, but Reigns will put an end to this, and he'll put him through extreme punishment, and he'll end this with Jey Uso. So really good stuff. The Universal Championship and Roman Reigns and the work he's doing is just phenomenal. It really hit me, and I tweeted this out. Roman Reigns and what he's doing has made Jey Uso a tag team for life guy. Jey Uso, the same Jey Uso who for years JBL would yell out, "Oh, which one's that Maggle? I love it, Maggle, flying Uso, Maggle." That Jey Uso is now in a meaningful main event storyline where you actually really care about Jey Uso. Who would have thought? That's how great Roman Reigns is doing. That is how great the work of Roman Reigns is. It's seriously phenomenal. So we had this opening segment, then AJ Styles came out, and we had AJ Styles versus Jey Uso. Jey Uso beat AJ Styles. Good match, nothing really to say. Went for 10 to 15 minutes, and that's about it really. So yeah, Jey Uso beat AJ Styles. We're going to probably do Jey Uso versus Reigns at Hell in a Cell. I don't know about what match, whether it's Hell in a Cell or it's some kind of funky stipulation, because Reigns said it'll be the most dangerous match in WWE history or something. So yeah, can't wait to see where they go with that. As for the rest of this show, a bunch of good stuff. Granted, there was some stuff that wasn't great, like the Lucha House Party and Matt Riddle versus Baron Corbin, Cesaro, and Shinsuke Nakamura. That was a dead filler match, which I changed the channel on. That was during the second hour. But outside of that, the rest of this show, for example, Alexa Bliss was on the KO show, so Kevin Owens utilized the brand-to-brand invitational, which it's a bit dumb. And speaking of brand-to-brand, next week, the WWE Draft, that's next Friday on SmackDown, and then the week after on Monday. So hopefully the draft is good. Hopefully people move to meaningful positions. Guys who are kind of floundering and doing nothing can actually go to a different place and have a purpose. Hopefully the draft is good. Last year's WWE draft was just a disaster. When the draft order near enough like for like got leaked on WWE.com the day of the thing. That was a disaster. But anyway, Alexa Bliss was on the KO show. Kevin Owens is comparing the Alexa Bliss and Fiend relationship, I guess I'll call it, to the Kevin Owens and Aleister Black storyline, which is a bit dumb. No one cares about Owens and Aleister Black. I'm sure some people do, but comparing that to this Alexa Bliss Fiend thing is just a bit obsolete. Alexa Bliss and the Fiend is that much more captivating. Alexa Bliss, her acting is phenomenal. Then Alexa Bliss mentions the Fiend. The Fiend, his effects hit. The Fiend shows up, attacks Kevin Owens, and then the Fiend and Bliss stare at each other for a minute. So really good stuff there. We're getting Kevin Owens versus the Fiend next week. That should be pretty good. Next week's SmackDown looks really good on paper. So we're getting Kevin Owens versus the Fiend. We're getting the WWE Draft, and everything comes along with that. We're getting Big E versus Sheamus, no holds barred. And we're also getting the SmackDown Women's Championship, Bayley defending against Sasha Banks next week on SmackDown. Now, they're likely going to do a no finish with this because it's Bayley versus Sasha Banks for the women's title on SmackDown. They're not going to have this be Sasha Banks being coronated as women's champion. at least you don't think, like what they probably should do is have Bayley win in a cheap, non-finish type way, and then Stephanie McMahon comes out and says, I'm putting an end to this, you two, Hell in a Cell, sort this out, winner takes all type thing. So hopefully they do that, then Sasha Banks can win the SmackDown Women's title at Hell in a Cell, because Sasha Banks, as much as it pains me to say, because Ryan Popola will just love this, but Sasha Banks probably does, she does deserve a singles run with the title. The fact that Becky Lynch held the Raw Women's title for like 13 months straight, and Sasha Banks hasn't held a women's title, a singles title, for more than 2 months. So yeah, Sasha Banks should have a long run with the title. She should beat Bayley at Hell in a Cell. As for what happened tonight with these two, Sasha Banks came out in the neck brace, went to commercial, she came back, cut a good promo about how Bayley was using her, how they're going to have the match next week. Pretty much that was about it. So Sasha Banks ripped the neck brace off, dropped the B word on Bayley, so that was good. And then the rest of the show, we had Jeff Hardy versus Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn, he dropped the IC title, or Jeff Hardy's interim IC title, into a garbage can or trash can, the same way, was it Lundra Blaze or Medusa, whatever. The same way they did that back in the 90s, but dropping the women's title from WWE in the bin on Nitro. You guys know what I'm talking about. So yeah, we did that with Sami Zayn. Then in the main event, Sami Zayn retained the IC title against Jeff Hardy. Sami Zayn's just a great heel. I love to hate him, which is what you want from a heel. Same thing with Roman Reigns. Okay, if Roman Reigns, say I'm in attendance at a WWE show, hypothetically, let's say there's fans and I'm in attendance, I'm gonna boo Roman Reigns because I love to hate him because he's doing such a good job. I'm not gonna cheer Roman Reigns and kill the whole flow of the show. Yes, smarks. So yeah, basically that was SmackDown. Also on SmackDown, we got Otis beating John Morrison in 2 minutes. I would complain, but I don't really care. And then we got another squash match. It was Baron. Who was it? It was Sheamus squashed Shorty G, and that was literally it. So yeah, that was SmackDown. Overall, a really entertaining show. SmackDown is proper good now. So yeah, if you enjoyed the video, like, comment, and sub. You guys know the drill. See ya.